The question was relevant because several national and international news outlets were reporting on the open letter signed by well over 100 national and international artists and filmmakers, many from Hollywood. New supporters were still joining the initiative. That's why I asked Teitum if he considered joining as well. Regarding the reaction, I was surprised by the unprofessional behavior by some of my colleagues who were interrupting while I was posing my question. However, most surprised I was by the unprofessional behavior by the moderator. She neither stopped the interruption while I was posing my question, nor did she address the raised middle finger by another journalist, assuming she saw that. Ensuring an order and professional environment would have been her responsibility. In the aftermath of the press conference, there was some hostility toward me and toward other journalists who were asking similar questions in press conferences before. At the same time, there was a great deal of support from fellow journalists and members of the film community. I'm aware of at least one journalist who was no longer given the opportunity to speak during subsequent press conferences after previously asking about the rise of fascism, solidarity with human rights, and the open letter. This was despite the fact that he repeatedly raised his hand and remained visibly engaged during the whole session. In fact, he appeared to be the only person seeking to ask a question and was not called upon. Whether this was a decision of the moderators themselves or by the festival team, I cannot say. Ultimately, however, the distinction is beside the point, as the festival should provide space for open discussion and dialogue. Of course, no artist is obliged to make a political statement if they do not wish to. It's entirely legitimate to prefer to not comment on something, or if someone does not feel sufficiently informed to offer a qualified opinion on something. At the same time, many artists have a significant public platform, and it's certainly ideal when they use that to draw light to important issues such as the humanitarian crisis and horrible situation in Gaza. An artist can also choose to be apolitical, of course, even if they come from a country where authoritarian and fascist tendencies are on the rise and re-emerging. That may be seen as questionable, but it is, of course, their right. At the same time, they should be aware that many people may perceive such a stance as disappointing and lack of courage. What is important, however, is the consistency in one's public statements, as well as transparency in how one positions oneself. At the same time, artists should be allowed and have the opportunity to express political views if they wish to do so. And journalists must be allowed to ask questions of all kinds. Maintaining press freedom, freedom of expression, and artistic freedom means accepting a full range of questions, even those they might find repetitive or uninteresting.